I'm going to address your question, and we'll note the following things we've already seen and discussed and demonstrated, okay? So if we're here in Yotodori, okay, I want to seize her center from where we're at. I'm not just here in the hands. I seize the center from wherever I'm at, and then I can move her from her center. I can move her any old way, okay? Center, move her. It's not a matter of taking her elbow and turning her. You just move her. Move her. Okay? So it's just from here, in her palm, at the contact, seizing her center, moving her center. Boom. Boom. Okay? So we'll try that. They're going to try that here. That's the first thing to know. Premise number 1. Try it. So this is premise 1A. Okay? So it's not that, go ahead and get in stance, please. Okay? It's not that she has spinal displacement. Push me, please. And I get out of the way. Nor in any way. She's pushing and I get out of the way. That's not what's happening. Okay? So if she's pulling now, she's pulling, okay? The only difference is that the grounding foot is going to be the front foot in this case because of how I'm standing. But the seizure is still the same. Boom. 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 Okay? And so usually we'll see like if I'm pulling, then you see it's all here in the grip, okay? Whereas if I push and she grounds, there's a little seizure there, but it's really external in the sense that what we're using is, like we said on the weapons video, how do you get Aiki adhesion on a weapons video? Well, if you get enough yang to yang pressure, you generate a kind of pseudo Aiki, which is the increase in friction as we understand it. Okay? But as Virginia noted that night, you don't really have the center. Okay? And that's what we're experiencing here. So if I press hard on her and she gets an external bracing angle, there's a kind of friction here. And she can kind of move that, but you can still feel it. It's more in my hands. But once I start doing the other way, she can't get it because I'm not really generating that external pressure. So we're going to let our people try this. Now we'll go to premise 2. And what we learned from premise 1 is that I can seize the center at touch. Okay? So we're going to expand upon that. We also learned in 1A that it's not about them pushing and me getting out of the way, or them pushing and me generating a yang-yang conflict that I can then simulate Aiki, okay? So here, she has no grip. Her fingers are open. She could hold wherever, okay? She holds wherever. And I find the same connection to her center. And we're just here and here. And again, I'm not looking for skeletal or bone or anything like that. Just boom, we move this way. Boom. Okay? So we'll try premise 2. Okay? This is what is happening in premise 1. It's just masquerade or deceivingly hidden by our egoic mind that sees fingers gripping, okay? The adhesion is inside the grip, okay? I'm not relying on them holding on to me when I adhere and seize the center. So premise 2. Premise 2A. Okay, so it might seem that she's not spinally displacing, she's not pushing, okay? And this is where you have to realize what an adhesion is, and it is a equivalency between her yang aspect. That's made up of her forward momentum, her materiality, gravity, her inertia, all that is yang aspect. And when that is equated with what I call alchemically treated yang, that's yang that goes down and comes back out. It's infused with yin. And it equals her value, we get stuck here. There's an adhesion, okay, at the contact point. It's not that a lot of people will think like, why can't she slide forward? Well, she could if I'm less. If I'm yin, she could slide forward. She could slide forward. She can do it every time, okay? Or I'm greater, I'll slip. So if when she tries to slide forward, I will match that and we get stuck. So she's trying, and I had to increase to keep the equivalency, okay? It's not that she's just touching me, and like the modern uke who gets like a dressage pony and walks over there, okay? That's not what's happening. So I'm stuck on there. She can't go forward. It's not that she's pushing in on me. It's not that she is, let's say, so that would be premise 2A. She's stuck. Open your hand, don't use your fingers at all, okay? And she's trying to go forward. She can't go forward, you see? She can't go forward, I'm matching it. She feels friction there. So I'm going to play with the equation, and the camera's going to come close so they can see my skin, and I'm going to demonstrate the friction in my skin, okay? So she's not moving in. I will go to her. She's trying to push forward. She's trying to push forward. And you can see, go back, just make a contact at first so my skin is there. And as she goes and I match that, you can see my skin is stretching. Do you see? Okay. We'll do it again. We'll watch this hand right here. We'll just do one hand for now. Okay. There we are. There's my skin in place. She's not gripping. We're just lightly touching. And as I feel her go forward, I press that and it gets stuck. Okay. Premise 2A. Doesn't change if she goes back the other way. So if I'm loose, she'll slip. But if I match it, we're stuck. And I can move her in. So premise 2A. Premise 2A was her trying to go forward, and I not letting her go forward. Premise 2B, I match it, and I'm stuck on the inside. Premise 2C, we're here, and she's going to try to open. She's going to come off. That's what a lot of people will do, is when they realize they're stuck, they're going to try to create space. All you have to do is follow it. Follow it. No, it's not going to change anything, okay? If I stay here, she goes off, then we'll break. But if she goes out, I follow, and you'll hit it, okay? That will be premise 2C. We'll do all A, B, and C. Try it. So in premise 1, inside the grip, I have an adhesion. In premise 2, I'm exposing that, letting it be known, okay? And how is it working, right? We also introduced the follow stick. So they will try to get off, but in them trying to get off, that's because you created a dilemma. I have control of your center from the adhesion point. You as an athlete are going to know that. You're going to try to pull off of the contact point. What do you do then? You follow the guy, find the next adhesion point. That's what you do, okay? But you made them in that moment that they're trying to get off and they're trying to regain their center. They're not being offense. You see, he's trying to regain his center. He's in Kazushi. He's trying to regain control of his person. That means I now have the initiative. Okay? Don't expand this stuff to like now you won because you're a superhuman adhering Aiki master. It doesn't work like that. So she comes in to grab with whatever. Boom, pow, end the freaking fight. That was it. Okay. that is how that functions. So she gets stuck. I use the adhesion to project, create distance, draw my weapon, and I shoot her in the face. Okay? That's the martial application here. This is not the martial application. That is not it. Okay? So don't blow it out. Just stick with our premises here. Okay? Let's go over here where we were. Premise 3. There is no reason why I need to be gripped. There's no reason why I need to wait for the grip. I can adhere at any point. I also can adhere at any point in time and any point on her body. So it doesn't have to be here in her palm. So we've done this before. She's coming in to grab and I counter. And I am on my counter on this one. I'm on the outside here and on the inside here. And we're stuck again. I find her center. Here she comes. I counter. Boom. Try not to set up for me. Just grab, and you didn't get it. Boom. Okay? So that's going to be premise 3. I don't need to be on her palm. I don't need to be on her forearm. I can be anywhere where I want to be and find an adhesion. It has nothing to do with the grip, the palm, or the forearm. Okay, let's try it. Premise 4, making our way to the technique. Kaiten, Tsuki, munet-ski. Okay. Just stay where you're at, don't move. So if I was to punch her with munet-ski, I would need enough spinal penetration with the strike to displace her. And that's generally going to be a little bit past her spine. Oh, I don't want to kiss the surface. And I don't want to hit the midsection in munet-ski. You could have reasons for doing that minimal penetration. But in munet-ski proper, you are trying to hit, boom, and displace her. Okay? So come back. So I'm going to do that same thing. And we also don't extend the elbow past katata dori. Okay? So that's where I'm at. And I'm going to figure out, I'm going to reverse engineer where my front foot is for munet-ski. So, boom. Okay? Come back where you were. Let's find it again. Put your toes on the line. We're going to scientifically do it. So, boom. Okay? So my toes on the line. Now, I only given one step. Boom. She's on the line, and you can see how close we are for munet-ski. Okay? We are not out here. Okay? It doesn't make sense. I don't know why that ever started. That's goofy as hell. Because on katata dori, that target is closer to me. And I start about here, one step. But now the target is back here. Therefore, my one step should have me closer. You see? Ooh. Make sense? Okay, so these mats are traditional tatami length. So one width is 1 meter. I'm just a little over half of a meter away from her on my body size, okay? So the drill here is get a little over half a meter. They're just standing in shizentai and boom, displace them without hyperextending your elbow, okay? Let's try that. Back on shizentai, a little over half a meter away from me, and premise 5. Watch the path of action of the munet-ski. So the fist starts neutral, and then the elbow's brought back, and the fist went up from the elbow coming back. And when the punch goes through, there's an upwardness to the punch as the elbow re-extends. Does not start from back here. You should have already punched him in the face. It starts neutral. It goes back and comes up. And as the elbow extends, the hand will come up as the shoulder becomes the articulation angle. Okay? So, munet-ski first goes back and up, then in and up more. Okay? So we're going to do discovery learning. They're going to observe that path of action, and you are going to feel that path of action. Boom. Okay? Premise 5. Premise 6. Again, working our way towards Kaiten, Nage, munet-ski. The other hand here is a temi, and it is to the veins and arteries on this neck, and it's not displacing. It's percussive and closer to the surface, attacking those veins and arteries. Okay, so meaning it's not here. He is also coming in the attack. So he has forward inertia. There is a hinge here. That's why his chin can drop. Energy is going to be absorbed in that hinge. I am not trying to displace his spine. This becomes a very percussive strike where he feels it, but his body is not sagittally displaced. Okay? So he's going to walk in, which is not even close to munet-ski speed, but you'll see the weapon. Okay? That's the weapon. So they're going to feel that. Okay? They're just going to walk in. I'll do this. Okay? I just walk in, and he hits that. Okay? I feel it more like, but it's not really displacing me. Does that make sense? Okay, so it does alter your consciousness, because your vagus nerve is going, should I pass out? Should I? I'm not quite sure. Okay, and I just need the should I. The technique's over by the rest of that sentence, okay? As far as your vagus nerve is concerned. All right, so they're going to try that. As you try this, don't try it that many times. You don't need 1,000,000 times to do it. You just want to feel that he doesn't go flying. Okay? Well, let's try it. Okay. And we're on premise 7. She's going to get in Hanmi for the munet-ski. And in the munet-ski, she's going to attack my front foot. And we're going to go really slow. Okay? When she brings her elbow back, that's your yin phase, and that's when you enter. You don't enter on the yang phase. On the yin phase, I'm in. Okay? And I am not going to push down on the upward phase of that. I'm just seeking contact. That is all I'm doing. Okay? So, as she enters, in. And I'm just resting. Just resting. You have the adhesion. It's like this drill. It's like that drill. I now reach and make contact. When you enter on the yin phase, make light contact. That's all you're doing. Okay? And okay? For contrast, Taylor, if you don't mind. My teacher would do it like this. Okay? And it's like that is retarded. Okay? So all I'm doing is here. That's what this hand is. Okay, very light. Okay, try it. Okay, so in that timing, in what we were doing, I popped the hand sword. So he goes in. His hand doesn't get heavy. Doesn't try to do that. It just hit. So again, when he hits, again, hits. Again, hits. Hits. Okay? That hand is light there. You can't go after like in the last drill when you had no timing your way back here. It has to hit at the positive angle here as I keep moving through. And it's very light here. Okay? So let's try that one. Alright, so my teacher's understanding of the technique was when they come up with that ski, slam the hell out of it down, right? And shove their head down, you see? And to me, it's clearly not Aikido. Because you have a yang-yang clash as you're going up when it goes down. And then I'm reaching up here and I'm trying to shove your head down, you see? That's her inertia, does not want to go down. So we don't want to do that, okay? So remember that her hand is going up, okay? And my hand was on top, but not pushing in the last two premises. But as you start to feel her hand go up, we'll start low, elbow tight. As her hand starts to go up, that's when I start to take this way. You see? And use your 90-degree fluctuation. So we're going to do this drill this way. I'm going to get already in place. And I'm going to go here. And here I get an adhesion, whatever adhesion I got. So Sean, come close on this side. And we'll watch your skin. I'll demonstrate it at the skin level. That's where I'm at. Okay? There's friction there. And there's friction here. Okay? As she starts to come up, and I use those two to move her into that curve. You see? It's no different than when I moved her from her center into this curve. We're here. Energy comes up, and I move her into the curve. I am not pushing against this. I'm equalizing it. And as she, start a little lower because you're going to come up, okay? As she comes up, that upward energy that I feel, I don't shove it down, I turn it. Okay? That's our next premise. Try it. Lost track of which premise we're on, so whatever. Okay. Again, like the earlier ones, it's not that she's coming up and I start to push down and I get some sort of external friction. That's the cue, okay? It's not necessary. So, for example, she could not come up. Just relax, woman, okay? She could just be there and you're gonna still stick, you see? Because you can stick anywhere, okay? Doesn't matter. So if Chan didn't see it, I'm just here and I just stick here. Likewise, she could be pulling backwards. She could be like trying to back up. We're gonna get stuck, okay? So we'll try that one, okay? One, no upward pressure, which is the cue when you do it. And then two, they're trying to pull back off of it, okay? Try it here. So we're on the next premise. We know at a certain point that the punch is gonna elongate the lever to here, right? We know that, okay? And as it does that, the distal end becomes more yin. So lift up, so example, go back, relax. Stop trying to think about what I'm telling you to do, okay? Just do what I say. So here her fist is back and close to her body, her elbow's close. Don't let me push it down. Don't let me change its positioning in space from there to here. Don't let me do it. Got it? Okay? Extend it out. And don't let me change it from here. Let me move it. Let me move it to here. Don't let me do that. You see? Because it's further away from her body. You get it? So it has a yin phase going back, a yang phase coming out, and then it's re-entering its yin phase again. Okay? And so that means as it comes out, I am going to start moving her this way in the spiral. But as it comes away from her body, I also, finish your punch, I let it go down too. Okay? Do you guys understand that? Got that? That's the timing of when to do it. Okay? So, as you experience the inertia of her posture, of her front foot, as her penetration intention, you will feel different levels of yang that don't want you to take it down. You don't want to do what my teacher did, just shove straight across it. You continue to bring it out at 90-degree fluctuations as you bring it down. And it gets really light. Okay? You can guess, like, I don't know. There's no way of knowing, but she could tell you if my hand is doing my teacher's thing, or whether my hand is just super light. What do you say?
It feels light at the beginning and then heavier.
Okay, well, that's not what I wanted, but okay, you're you. I'll do it with my finger, okay? So she goes, here's the adhesion out, and it's just my finger. So whatever felt heavy to her, it couldn't have actually been that heavy for me to apply. It does feel heavy to the uke, but I'm not really applying that great strength. If you were to feel that you were applying a great strength, you were in a yang-yang contestation, you need to go more around in order to go more down. Okay? That's how that works. So that's our next experiment. I start here, and as she's going, it goes out. That's where I take that down. Okay? Let's try that. We're back in the last drill. So as her hand goes out, and I started going this way, then it gets light, and I move it around. We're gonna watch her head. Her head is this high off the ground. All that happens, and her head gets lower. We now combine the other adhesion, okay? Out it all comes, lower. There's her head went under my hand. I did not shove like my teacher. Try to shove her down, okay? I bring her head to me. So in, so again, to her, like she can't pick her head up. She won't be able to pick her head up. She'll feel like that's strong, but I'll do it with my finger. Okay? So we'll add that now. Okay? Question, the mechanisms are the same we always do. There's the Aiki hand. You gotta seize the center, moving the center. I'm turning the whole body. I can stick from wherever I'm at. Externally, I have to match yin and yang, okay? I'm not a fan of how a lot of Tai Chi people will just root and contest and say it's an internal yield. I believe that concentrically, the reconciliation of yin and yang that is happening internally should happen externally, because I know martially you can't just do an internal reconciliation. It doesn't work. Athletes will just deal with that force as any other force, and you're caught on the line of attack with your hands down. Okay, it's stupid. The last part is, or the second part of your question is how much energy. It's like I'm trying to do no energy, okay? Just enough to stick. So the energy is equal to her, but it's at 90-degree fluctuation. So as far as my output is, it's very light. I don't feel anything. So traditionally, I've heard different values. They say it's about 2 pounds of pressure, about 4 pounds of pressure. But you already know that's bullshit because the Chinese didn't use the pound system. Okay, that's a British thing. Or an English thing, or and eventually an American thing. And it's like, no, and they didn't use the metric system. Whatever it fucking is, it's very light. Okay? It shouldn't, if I ever felt like I actually had to something, I would follow the next yin space. I wouldn't contest like that, okay, like my teacher did. Okay, the last thing you do, and which is highly covered in that video you linked, is I gotta do all that I just did and set up the X pattern. So that means I gotta be in the middle of her spiraling, traversing through the sagittal plane, such that the yang hand is going to run into her inertia that I internalize and project, okay? So we get in her stance, she goes to strike, I do that whole thing, and as I bring her forward, this is the front inward kazushi, that's where that's gonna be, right there. I need this hand to hit her inertia. So just rewind the film where you were. Rewind. Okay? As she comes in, the Aiki hand has to bring her around into that pattern, and you will feel the force increase on that hand. Okay? I don't know where you need to be. Maybe over here. Maybe. Okay? She's going in, and you're gonna feel that it's pressure. Do you see? Eventually it gets light. Right here's light, and then it got heavy again at the end. You see that? As it's passing through its phases. So I'm not gonna throw her, but I'll displace her a little as she feels that. Okay? That's what you're doing. Now, the scaredy cat uke is gonna feel that. We'll come to here. And when they feel the center, they kind of absorb it. They feel that projecting. So let me show the projection first, okay? The projection's right there. They absorb it by taking energy away. Do you see that? So as they do that, you follow it in and you take the next projection point, which is the hip. And out they go. Okay? They're going to try that now. That's going to be the end of our video. Let us know if you have questions. Okay, thank you.